Okay, thank you for joining me in ChatGPT. We're now going to go ahead and create our own custom GPT. And we're going to do that for a very specific use case. We're going to look at an HR policy and benefits interpretation GPT. Now, generally, this is going to require several inputs as well as detailed instructions on how to process requests against this custom GPT. Now, those inputs may look like an employee handbook, a benefits guide, and leave policies. Now, for purposes of this demonstration, we are just going to be referencing a fictitious leave policy document. We're also going to be providing some specific instructions for the GPT to adopt and follow. So let's go ahead and create our own custom GPT. We're going to navigate to the GPT menu option on the left-hand side. And in the top right, we're going to go ahead and click on Create. We're going to give our custom GPT a name. So we're going to call this Test Custom GPT. And there is a character limit here. I think it's 50 characters. So you'll want to be succinct with your name. You can give it a description. The instructions I prepared earlier, I'm going to paste those in for now. These instructions include specific details that are country specific. So, for example, if there's a request that comes in from an employee in Asia, we don't have the answers that they need within the specific policy document that we've uploaded to the custom GPT. So we want the model to refer users to email hr_asia@company.com in order to get the answer that they need. We can include conversation starters so that end users can quickly jump into the model with predefined prompts. And as for knowledge, we're going to provide that leave policy document that we've created just for illustrative purposes. In terms of additional capabilities, we don't need web search, canvas, or image generation here. And we'll give this a second to think. And we're going to go ahead and create this custom GPT. Now we can share this with anyone who has a link to this custom GPT, which is great because it means that they don't necessarily need a paid subscription to ChatGPT in order to fully utilize the custom GPT. But for now, I'm going to limit it to just myself for test purposes. We'll give that a second to save. And then what we're going to do is now test this model to make sure that we're getting the outputs that we need that are aligned with the underlying policy that we created and the instructions that we have provided. All right, let's go ahead and view this GPT. Fantastic. So the first test is for a UK employee. And you'll see the response is really laid out and tied closely to the instructions that we provided earlier. And it's given us the correct output based upon the policy that we provided, which is great. Now, before we look at the next example, just a quick reminder that we'll need to create a new chat. Otherwise, the model's going to assume that we are the same UK employee with our next request, which wouldn't make sense. So I'm going to go ahead and hit new chat, open up our custom GPT, and prompt it with the next request, which is a very generic question. And you can see here that the model has already called out that the country has not been referenced. And it's asked us to please confirm the country that we're employed in. So I'm going to say United States. And now that we've confirmed the country, it's giving us the appropriate answer based upon the instructions that it was provided and the leave policy document that we uploaded. So now for our third test, I'm going to hit new chat, custom GPT. And this time, we're going to be an employee based in Asia. Now you might recall that our first instruction that we gave was if it's a request from an employee in Asia to email a particular email address, hr_asia@company.com. And that's the instruction that we're given here, which is great. We're going to run a couple more tests here, or maybe just one more. So let's go ahead and create a new version of our custom GPT. And this time we are a Canadian employee. And unfortunately for our Canadian employee, Canada is not covered under the leave policy document that we uploaded. So it's going to tell us to email hr_global@company.com, which is the email address that we included in the instructions provided. So at least with our very limited testing here, we can say that the custom GPT has been successful. It is correctly, validating the information in our leave policy that we uploaded, as well as following the instructions that we gave when we created the custom GPT. Now, what we want you to do as you're working through your own testing, you will want to continue to iterate on the instructions that you've given the custom GPT and tweak them until you're getting accurate and consistent outputs from the model. And once you've gone ahead and built your own custom GPT and iterated on it to the point that it's ready to be shared more broadly, you can share it with others, as we saw. And again, they don't themselves need a paid subscription to use it, but you do need a paid subscription to be able to create that custom GPT in itself. This was a great use case. Hopefully you can see application across many different areas of finance and treasury for creating your own custom GPT.